In a village deep in the heart of the savannah, where the winds whispered secrets to the tall grasses and the baobab trees stood like ancient sentinels, there lived a young girl named Zara. Her story, like many told under the light of the moon, was one of sorrow, strength, and the power of love lost and found. Zara's mother had been a woman of great beauty and kindness, loved by all in the village. But as the rains come and go, so too do the days of life. One day, when Zara was just a small girl of 7 seasons, her mother passed on to join the ancestors. Her father, Malam Sani, was left in deep sorrow. He wandered the village with heavy feet, and his eyes, once bright, were now clouded with grief. In time, the elders advised Malam Sani to take another wife, for a home without a woman, they said, was like a tree without roots. So he married Hadiza, a woman from a neighboring village. She was beautiful on the outside, but her heart was as hard as the stone mortar the women used to grind millet. When Hadiza entered their home, Zara, now older but still a child, hoped to find in her a new mother. But what she found instead was a thorn in her side. From the very first day, Hadiza's eyes fell upon Zara with scorn. She saw in the girl a reminder of the woman whose place she now filled, and her heart, already cold, turned to ice. Zara, go fetch water from the stream. Zara, sweep the compound. Zara, where is my food? Hadiza's voice echoed through the house like a never-ending storm. Day after day, the little girl labored from sunrise to sunset, her small hands blistered and her back bent under the weight of the tasks. Malam Sani, though he loved his daughter, had become like a bird with no wings. He saw the way Hadiza treated Zara, but he could not speak. His love for Hadiza, or perhaps his fear of her sharp tongue, kept him silent. Whenever Zara would run to him, tears in her eyes, he would look away, his voice soft and filled with guilt. My daughter, he would say, Hadiza is now the woman of this house. You must listen to her. Zara's heart ached at these words. How could her own father turn a blind eye to her suffering? But she was a child, and what could a child do in the face of such cruelty? One day, after a long walk to the stream, Zara returned with a calabash of water on her head. Her feet were sore, her body tired. As she set the calabash down, a single drop of water spilled onto the floor. It was a small mistake, but in Hadiza's eyes, it was unforgivable. You useless child, Hadiza shouted, her voice sharp as a spear. You can't even carry water without making a mess. Are you trying to bring shame to this house? Before Zara could utter a word of apology, Hadiza's hand came down upon her cheek with the force of a raging wind. Zara fell to the ground, her vision swimming with tears and pain. She lay there, her cheek burning, her spirit crushed. That night, as the stars blinked down from the heavens, Zara slipped out of the house and made her way to her mother's grave. It was a small mound beneath a great baobab tree, and there, Zara knelt. She placed her hands on the earth, the way she had seen the elders do when speaking to the ancestors. Mama, she whispered, her voice trembling. Why did you leave me? Hadiza hates me, and Baba does nothing. I am all alone. The night was silent, save for the distant call of the night birds. Zara closed her eyes, letting her tears fall into the earth. She had never felt so lost, so abandoned. As she wept, a soft rustling came from behind her. She turned and saw her father, Malam Sani, standing there in the moonlight. His face was drawn with sorrow, and for the first time in many moons, Zara saw tears in his eyes. My child, he said, his voice barely above a whisper, I have failed you. I let Hadiza's anger rule this house, and I forgot my duty to you, my own blood. But no more. Zara looked up at him, her heart pounding. Could it be true? Could her father finally see her pain? Malam Sani knelt beside her, placing his hands on her shoulders. You are my daughter, Zara, he said, his voice firm. I promised your mother I would protect you, and I have broken that promise. But I will not break it again. The next morning, as the sun rose and bathed the village in golden light, Malam Sani called Hadiza to the center of the compound. His voice, which had always been soft, now rang with authority. Hadiza, he said, you will no longer treat Zara as your servant. She is my daughter, and this is her home. If you cannot show her the respect she deserves, then perhaps this is not the place for you. Hadiza, stunned by the change in her husband, tried to protest. But Malam Sani stood firm, his eyes blazing with the strength of a father who had reclaimed his voice. From that day on, the air in the house shifted. Though Hadiza still cast her cold glares at Zara, she no longer dared to mistreat her. Zara, for the first time in years, felt a lightness in her heart. She no longer had to walk with her head bowed, her spirit crushed under the weight of her stepmother's cruelty. Her father had finally seen her, had finally stood up for her. And though the scars of her past would remain, Zara knew that she was no longer alone. Like the baobab that stood tall and strong, her roots were deep, and with her father's love, she would grow and flourish, no matter the storms that came her way. Moral lesson: don't maltreat others' children, rather love, cherish and care for them. Because when you are of age, those children will surely look after you. So be kind to others. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to click the subscribe button, like, comments and share.